Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. Settle in. Let the day's sharp edges soften. Feel the weight of your body being gently held by the chair, the floor, the earth beneath you. There is nowhere you need to be in this moment, nothing you need to achieve. Simply listen. Let the sound of these words be like a slow, steady stream, and allow your thoughts to be leaves floating on its surface, noticed, and carried gently away. We often come to places like this. Whether a physical temple or this quiet space of listening, carrying a common burden. It is not made of stone or metal, but it is heavy. It is the burden of fear. Fear that whispers of future loss, that shouts of present inadequacy, that echoes with past regrets. It can feel like a cage, a constant hum in the background of your life, limiting your steps and dimming your world. What if you could learn to see that cage not as solid iron, but as intricate shadow? What if the key was not a forceful break, but a shift in the light? For over 2,500 years, the wisdom flowing from the Buddha, a title meaning, the awakened one, has offered not brittle promises, but profound and practical understandings of the human heart. It provides a map of the mind's terrain, showing us how suffering arises, and more importantly, how we can navigate it to find a deep and unshakable peace. Tonight, we begin a long, gentle journey through this landscape. We will explore several core principles from Buddhism, but we will not walk a straight line. Our path will spiral, touching each truth from different angles, allowing it to reveal itself in layers, just as understanding deepens in a human life. We will move through concepts like the nature of thought, the power of patience, the freedom in non-grasping, the truth of constant change, the universality of difficulty, and the anchor of present moment awareness. They are not separate lessons, but threads in a single, beautiful tapestry of awakening. Let me begin with a story. It's not an ancient parable, but something from my own life, many years ago. I was in a period of immense transition, having left a career that defined me. The future was a blank page, and my mind filled that blankness with terrifying scripts: failure, poverty, judgment. The anxiety was a physical thing, a cold, tight coil in my stomach that rarely unclenched. One afternoon, overwhelmed, I went for a walk in a sprawling, forgotten cemetery. It was a place of profound quiet. I wandered among old stones, their inscriptions weathered smooth by decades of rain and wind. I sat on a bench near a large, ornate monument. Carved into its side was a tree, its branches spreading wide, but the stone was so worn that many of the leaves were just faint, smooth depressions. As I sat there, feeling my own fears churn, a simple, clear realization arose. The person beneath that stone, whose name I could barely read, had once had fears too. They had likely worried about their health, their family, their legacy, their survival. Those fears had felt as real, as urgent, as all-consuming as mine felt to me in that moment. And now, here was the stone, smoothed by time. The fears were gone. Not because they were solved, but because their context, the life that held them, had completed its arc. In the face of that deep time, my own frantic worries seemed to shrink, not to insignificance, but into perspective. They were part of the human experience, not the totality of mine. They were like the detailed leaves on the stone, intricate and important to the design, but not the stone itself. The stone was something else, something more enduring. That moment didn't erase my fear, but it created a space around it. It was my first visceral taste of a Buddhist principle we will explore later. The universal nature of suffering, and the perspective that comes from it. If this way of exploring the mind, of finding space around your fears, resonates with you, I invite you to join our community here at Monk's Moon Temple. By subscribing, you signal a desire to return to this work of gentle understanding. It helps this channel grow and continue to offer these sanctuaries of sound. If you feel so moved, please tap the subscribe button. Now, let's continue deeper into the temple of your own awareness. Our first stopping point on this spiral path is a concept so fundamental that to see it is to change everything about how you relate to your inner world. We begin not by battling fear, but by understanding its substance. We look directly at the nature of thought. Buddhist psychology teaches that much of what we take to be solid reality, especially our emotional reality, is a construct of the mind. Fear is perhaps the most compelling of these constructs. It feels so real, so urgent, so factual. But is it? Or is it a masterful illusion, a shadow play we mistake for substance? Imagine you are in a house at night, comfortable and safe. You get up for a glass of water. As you walk down the dark hallway, you see it, a strange, coiled shape on the floor. Your heart leaps. Adrenaline floods your system. Your mind instantly shouts, "Snake!" Every cell prepares to fight or flee. That is the power of fear. Now, you take a cautious step closer. You squint. The shape resolves into a coil of discarded rope, a belt, a shadow from a curtain tie. The fear vanishes, replaced perhaps by a laugh at yourself. But notice, your body still hums with the aftermath. The chemical reaction was real. The sensation was real. But the cause, the snake, was never real. It was a story, an interpretation projected by your mind onto ambiguous sensory data. This is the daily, hourly drama of our lives. The mind is a relentless pattern maker, a meaning machine. It takes the ambiguous data of life, a delayed text, a neutral comment from a boss, a slight ache in the chest, the silence of an empty house, and it projects its most feared interpretation onto it. They're angry with me. I'm going to be fired. This is a heart attack. I will always be alone. The fear that follows feels like a direct response to reality, but it is a response to a story about reality. The rope is not the snake. The practice, then, is to learn to pause in that dark hallway. To notice the leap from sensation to story. To bring a light of awareness to the coiled shape on the floor and inquire, what is this, really? This light is mindfulness, a quality we will cultivate extensively. But the initial insight is this: you are not the fear. You are the one aware of the fear. You are not the shadow on the wall, you are the wall upon which the shadow is cast. The wall does not tremble when a shadow of a monster passes over it. It remains, steady and unmoved. Let me offer you a new metaphor. Think of your awareness as a vast, clear, still mountain lake. Thoughts and emotions are like weather on the surface of that lake. A fear thought is a sudden, sharp wind. It ripples the surface, creating choppy, disturbed waves. The untrained mind looks at the choppy water and says, I am disturbed. I am chaotic. The lake itself is the storm. It identifies completely with the surface weather. But if you could submerge your attention just a few feet below the surface, you would find a different reality. Down there, beneath the wind-whipped waves, the water is calm, clear, and still. The storm is a surface phenomenon. Your true nature is more like the deep, still water than the turbulent surface. The practice is learning to rest in the depths, to feel the stability beneath the passing storms of fear, anger, or worry. You don't stop the wind from blowing, but you change your relationship to it. You know you are the deep lake, not the surface chop. This is not a mere philosophical idea. It is a shift in identity that brings immense relief. The next time a wave of fear arises, a tightness about a future meeting, a pang of social anxiety, a dread of bad news, experiment. Instead of being swept into the story, "This is terrible, what will I do?" try to feel the sensations directly. Where is the fear in your body? A clutch in the stomach? A tension in the shoulders? A constriction in the throat? Be the deep lake observing the surface weather. Feel the sensation as a mere sensation, not as proof of a catastrophic story. Say to yourself, "Ah. Here is the sensation of tightening. Here is the feeling of rapid heartbeat." Label it gently. In that simple act of observation, you create a space. You are no longer fused with the fear, you are in relationship to it. And in that space lies your freedom to choose a different response than panic. We spend our lives believing we are the weather, frantically trying to control the wind and the waves, exhausting ourselves. The awakening begins when we realize, even for a moment, that we are the lake. The weather comes and goes. The lake remains. This understanding is the first and most crucial step, recognizing the illusory, thought-based nature of much of our fear. It is seeing the rope for the rope. From this place of recognition, we can begin to apply other wisdom tools. But without this insight, we remain forever in the dark hallway, running from shadows. So tonight, as you listen, and later as you move through your world, practice being the lake. Notice the weather, but feel the depths. The storm is not you. Let us continue. Having touched upon the nature of the mind's illusions, we now arrive at a quiet shore. The waters may still be stirred from the passing storm of thought, but here we find something solid, something that does not rush. We find the practice of patience. In the Western world, we often think of patience as a passive virtue, a mere waiting. We grit our teeth in a long line, we tolerate a slow talker, we wait for a web page to load. But in the deep stream of Buddhist teaching, patience, or khanti, is something far more radical. It is an active, courageous strength. It is the unshakable determination of a mountain, not in stubbornness, but in profound stability. It is the willingness to be present with experience without demanding that it be other than what it is. Fear and impatience are intimate partners. Fear shouts, "I cannot bear this uncertainty. I need to know the outcome now. I must fix this immediately." This is the voice of a mind that cannot tolerate the open, unfolding mystery of the present moment. It wants to fast forward through the uncomfortable parts to get to the resolution. But life does not work that way. It unfolds in its own time, like a flower, or like the healing of a wound. Our impatience, our frantic desire to control the timeline, is like prying open a rosebud. We may get something that looks like a flower, but we destroy its natural beauty, its fragrance, and its life in the process. We are left with torn petals. True patience is the wisdom to provide the conditions, sun, water, soil, and then to wait, to watch, to trust the innate intelligence of growth. It is applying this same trust to your own inner landscape. When fear arises, impatience wants to smash it, run from it, or immediately solve the problem it presents. Patience learns to sit beside it. To say, "I see you are here. I will not abandon this moment because you are in it. I will breathe, and I will allow you to be, and I will allow you to change in your own time. I want to share with you a story about a maple tree. In my backyard, there is a very old sugar maple. Every autumn, it is a breathtaking spectacle of crimson and gold. And every autumn, without fail, I feel a subtle pang as the first leaves begin to fall. I want the brilliant display to last. I find myself impatient with the process of decay, with the inevitable baring of the branches. One particularly windy October day, I watched in a state of mild grief as a gust stripped a huge swath of leaves, scattering them across the lawn. My impatience with the season's turn felt foolish, but it was there. Later, I was raking those very leaves into a pile for my children. They jumped in, laughing, scattering them again. The air smelled of damp earth and decay, a rich, profound scent. As I worked, my hand brushed against the maple's trunk. I looked up. The architecture of the tree was now fully visible, the powerful, graceful branching, the sturdy trunk. I had not been able to see this elegant skeleton when it was clothed in its fiery foliage. The tree was not diminished, it was revealed in another aspect of its beauty. The falling of the leaves was not an ending to be feared, but a phase in a cycle I was too impatient to appreciate fully. My impatience for the color to stay had blinded me to the stark beauty of the limbs against the gray sky, and to the fertile gift of the leaves returning to the earth. Patience would have allowed me to witness the entire, majestic transformation without resistance. This is the patience we must cultivate with our fears. The fear is like the brilliant, alarming autumn color. It demands our attention, it feels urgent. We want it to pass quickly, to get to the quiet winter of peace. But what if, within the fear itself, there is a structure to be seen, a truth to be revealed? What if, by being patient, by not rushing to tear the feeling away, we allow it to show us something about our own architecture, our vulnerabilities, our attachments, our deep cares? And what if, when it finally does fall away, it leaves behind a clearer view of our own inner strength, our resilient trunk and branches? Buddhist teachings remind us that patience is the direct antidote to anger and fear, for both arise from intolerance of the present. When we cultivate Khanti, we build an inner fortress not of walls, but of spaciousness. We create room for life to happen. Let me give you a more personal, internal example. There was a time I struggled with acute insomnia. The fear was not of anything external, but of the insomnia itself. As bedtime approached, dread would coil in my stomach. What if I can't sleep again? What if I lie there for hours? I'll be wrecked tomorrow. This very fear, of course, ensured I remained tense and awake. I was in a war with my own nervous system, and I was losing. One night, in desperation, I abandoned the fight. I applied patience. I said to myself, all right. You may not sleep. That is a possibility. You may lie here until sunrise. That has happened before, and you survived. Let's just be here, without demand. Instead of frantically trying to force relaxation, I simply paid patient attention to the experience of lying in bed. I felt the weight of the blankets. I listened to the distant hum of the night. I noticed the play of shadows on the ceiling. When the fearful thought arose, you need to sleep, I acknowledged it with patience. There's that thought again. And I returned to feeling the pillow under my head. The shift was not magical. I did not fall instantly asleep. But the secondary suffering, the panic about not sleeping, dissipated. I was simply present with a sleepless night. And in that patient, non-resistant space, my body eventually, organically, relaxed into sleep. Patience did not give me control over sleep, it gave me peace within the lack of control. It allowed the natural process to unfold without my frantic interference. This is the essence of the practice. When you are gripped by fear about a health diagnosis, patience allows you to be with the uncertainty between test and result, without filling it with catastrophic stories. When you are afraid in a social situation, patience allows you to feel the awkwardness without needing to instantly flee or perform. It is the deep breath in the space between the trigger and the reaction. It says, I can be here with this. I can tolerate this feeling. I don't need to know the ending yet. How do we cultivate this muscle of Kanti? We start small. In a traffic jam, instead of simmering with frustration, feel the steering wheel under your hands. Notice your breath. You are practicing patience. Waiting for a response to a difficult message, feel the anxiety in your body, and instead of checking your phone again, simply stand up and feel your feet on the floor for 1 minute. You are practicing patience. Each time you do this, you are telling your nervous system, we can handle uncertainty. We can handle discomfort. We do not need to panic. You are building the mountain of your own stability. The winds of fear will still blow, they are a natural part of the climate of a conscious life, but you will find you are less and less swayed. You become the patient gardener, the observing tree, the deep lake allowing the wind to pass over its surface. You realize that the fear itself has a lifespan, and your patient attention is the space in which it can complete its natural cycle, from arising to peaking to fading away, without you adding the fuel of your resistance. So, as we continue to sit together in this space, bring your awareness to any place in your body or mind that feels restless, fearful, or impatient. Don't try to change it. Simply be patient with it. Offer it the spaciousness of your attention, as you would offer a seat to a weary guest. You are not agreeing with its story. You are simply allowing it to exist within the vast room of your awareness, until it naturally rises, bows, and takes its leave. This is the power of Kanti. It is not weakness. It is the deepest form of strength. Let us move deeper into the forest of understanding. We have observed the illusory nature of fearful thoughts, and we have cultivated the patient, steady ground upon which to stand as they pass. Now, we turn our attention to a fundamental characteristic of the forest itself. It is a truth so basic, so ever-present, that we often miss it, and in missing it, we create immense suffering for ourselves. This is the truth of impermanence. In the language of the Buddhist teachings, it is called anicca. Nothing that is composed remains unchanged. This is not a pessimistic doctrine, but a clear-eyed observation of reality. Look at your own hand as you listen. The cells that composed it a year ago are mostly gone, replaced. The sensations in your body shift from moment to moment, a slight itch arises and passes, a muscle relaxes. Listen to the silence around you. It is not a solid thing, but a space punctuated by subtle sounds that come and go. Your very stream of consciousness is a river of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, each one rising, lingering for a time, and falling away. The entire cosmos is in a state of dynamic, endless flux. Our fear, in so many of its forms, is a rebellion against this undeniable law. We fear loss because we are attached to things remaining. We fear the future because it is a change from the known present. We fear aging, sickness, and death, the ultimate impermanence of this form. We want to hold on to health, to relationships, to happy moments, to our very sense of who we are, as if they were permanent sculptures. But we are trying to hold on to running water. The tighter we clutch, the more acutely we feel it slipping through our fingers, and the more we suffer. The wisdom of Anicca does not ask us to become cold or indifferent. It does not say, nothing matters, so don't care. Instead, it invites us to care deeply, but with a different kind of hand. Not a clenched fist, but an open palm. An open palm can feel the coolness of the water, its movement, its texture. It can cup it gently to drink. But it does not suffer the illusion that it can stop the river or possess the water. The open palm appreciates the water because it is fleeting. Knowing it will not last forever makes the drink more precious, not less. I'd like to tell you a story about a Japanese art form called kintsugi. It is the practice of repairing broken pottery with lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The result is not a hidden repair, but a beautiful, visible highlighting of the cracks. The piece is not returned to its original, perfect state. It is transformed into something new, with a history of breakage and repair woven into its beauty. The break, the impermanence of its wholeness, becomes part of its value, celebrated in gold. Your life is a piece of kintsugi. The losses, the changes, the endings, they are the cracks. Our instinct is to hide them, to regret them, to fear them as evidence of damage or failure. We want the pristine, uncracked bowl of a perfect, unchanging life. But that bowl is a fantasy. The teaching of Anicca invites us to become the artist of kintsugi for our own experience. To take the breakage of a relationship, the changing of a career, the aging of the body, and not to see them as ruin, but as the necessary lines in our unique, evolving design. To mend them with the gold of awareness, compassion, and acceptance. The repaired piece is often considered more beautiful, more valuable, than the original precisely because it embodies the truth of change and resilience. I learned this not from a vase, but from a friendship. I had a dear friend for over 2 decades. Our lives were deeply intertwined, shared holidays, daily conversations, a history that felt like bedrock. Then, life shifted. Careers moved us to different continents. New families and responsibilities grew. The daily contact became weekly, then monthly. There was no fight, no dramatic ending, but a slow, quiet change in the form of the relationship. For a long time, I felt a background grief and fear. I was clinging to the old form, the old frequency, like trying to hold the exact shape of a cloud. It caused a subtle, constant ache. One day, I received a letter from her, a real, paper letter. She wrote about her new life, her reflections, and ended with, "I feel our friendship is no longer a daily stream, but a deep underground aquifer. It is still there, feeding the roots, but we don't see its surface every day." In that moment, I saw my kintsugi crack, and I began to mend it with gold. The form had changed, impermanence had done its work, but the essence, the clean, deep water of our care, remained. By releasing my attachment to the old, visible stream, I could appreciate the gift of the aquifer. The fear of loss transformed into gratitude for the enduring connection in a new form. I had to let the old bowl break in my mind to see the more beautiful, golden-veined vessel it had become. This is the practical application of embracing impermanence. When you feel fear about your children growing up and leaving home, can you see it as the necessary change from seedling to tree? Can you mend that crack with the gold of pride for their independence? When you feel anxiety about a changing work environment, can you see it as the breaking of an old, perhaps limiting, form, making way for a new shape to emerge, one you will mend with the gold of new skills and adaptability? The Buddha taught that contemplation of anicca is a direct source of peace. Why? Because when you deeply know that everything changes, your joy, your pain, your fear, your circumstances, you stop taking any single state so personally or permanently. The crushing fear that this will last forever loses its power. You know the storm, however violent, will pass. You also know the calm, sunny weather will pass. This leads not to apathy, but to a profound and compassionate engagement with the present moment. You savor the happy times without the anxious shadow of, this must not end. You endure the difficult times with the resilient knowledge, this, too, shall change. So, as you sit now, bring this contemplation to your own life. Think of a fear you are holding. Perhaps it is fear of a financial loss, fear of a relationship ending, fear of a personal failure. Now, apply the lens of anicca. Know with certainty that the situation you fear, and the very fear itself, are in motion. They are not frozen statues. They are processes. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Your task is not to stop the process, but to find your wise and compassionate relationship to it as it flows. Can you hold this fear in the open palm of awareness, rather than in the clenched fist of resistance? Can you see the cracks not as final fractures, but as potential lines for golden repair? When you feel the truth of impermanence in your bones, a great sigh of relief becomes possible. You are no longer the commander of a static kingdom, fighting a hopeless war against time and decay. You become a wise and gentle traveler in a landscape of endless transformation, learning to appreciate each vista, each season, each passing weather pattern for what it is, precisely because it is passing. This is the freedom that anicca offers. It is the permission to be fully, vibrantly alive in the fleeting, beautiful, ever-changing now. Let us continue our quiet exploration. We have sat with the shifting nature of thought, cultivated the strength of patience, and felt the liberating truth of constant change. Now, let us turn our gaze to a concept that, when misunderstood, can feel heavy, but when understood correctly, brings the deepest solace. It is the Buddhist understanding of suffering, known as dukkha. This word is often translated as suffering, but that is too narrow, too dramatic. Dukkha is better understood as the inherent unsatisfactoriness, the subtle stress or friction of being a sensitive, conscious creature in a world of change. It is the background hum of anxiety, the pang of insecurity, the feeling that things are not quite perfect, not quite stable, not quite as they should be. It includes obvious pain like grief and fear, but also the subtlest sense of dis-ease when a pleasant experience ends, or the restless search for the next thing to make us feel complete. The Buddha's first and most crucial teaching was about dukkha. He did not say, life is suffering, as a bleak, final judgment. He made a diagnostic observation, there is dukkha. It is present. He then offered its cause and, importantly, a path to its cessation. But the first step is simply to recognize its universality. This is where our relationship with fear begins to transform at the root. We habitually personalize our pain. My fear, my anxiety, my depression. We feel uniquely flawed, uniquely burdened. Why can't I get over this? Why am I so scared when others seem so brave? This sense of isolation magnifies the fear. It becomes a dark, private room with no windows, where the echo of our own panic grows deafening. The teaching on dukkha turns on a light in that room and reveals a door you hadn't seen. It shows you that you are not in a private cell, but in a vast, shared hall. Every other being in that hall is dealing with their own version of dukkha, their own fears, losses, insecurities, and aches. The specific content may differ, but the underlying condition of vulnerability is universal. The fear of loss, the fear of rejection, the fear of meaninglessness, the fear of pain. These are not your personal failures. They are part of the contract of having a heart that can love, a mind that can imagine, and a body that can feel in a world that is unpredictable and impermanent. Imagine you are on a long, nighttime flight through rough turbulence. The plane is shaking violently. You are gripped by fear, your knuckles white on the armrests. You feel utterly alone in your terror. Then, you glance around. In the dim cabin light, you see the face of the confident businessman across the aisle, now pale and tense. You see the weary mother soothing her child, her own eyes wide with worry. You see the flight attendant's professional smile, but also the tight grip on a seat back for balance. In that moment, you realize, you are not alone in this experience. Everyone on this plane is feeling the same lurch in their stomach, the same primal alarm. The fear does not vanish, but the crushing isolation does. You are in it together. A strange, silent camaraderie replaces the lonely panic. Understanding dukkha is that glance around the cabin. Your fear of failure. Others fear it too. Your anxiety about your children's safety. It is a universal song in a parent's heart. Your dread of aging and sickness. It is a shadow that touches every human life. This realization is not meant to make the world seem grim, but to normalize your experience. It removes the additional, corrosive layer of shame. You are not broken for being afraid. You are human. You are participating in the shared, tender vulnerability of existence. Let me share a story from an unexpected place, a community garden. I used to volunteer at one, and there was a man there named Leo, a retired carpenter with hands like gnarled wood. He was the strongest, most capable person I'd ever met. He could fix anything, build anything, lift anything. One spring day, we found a baby bird that had fallen from its nest. It was tiny, featherless, pulsating with a frantic heartbeat. Leo, this mountain of a man, knelt down. His huge, rough hands, which could drive nails and lift timber, hovered over the tiny creature, trembling. He was afraid to touch it, afraid his strength would crush it. He looked up at me, and in his eyes was pure, unadulterated fear, fear of his own power, fear of causing harm, fear of this fragile life dying in his care. In that moment, I saw the universality of dukkha with stunning clarity. Here was a man I'd subconsciously placed beyond fear, and he was awash in it. Not fear of violence or poverty, but fear rooted in care, in tenderness. His fear was as human as mine. It was a reflection of his capacity to love, to feel responsible. Seeing that dissolved any last vestige of my belief that some people have it all together and are immune to fear. They are not. They simply have different birds in their hands. When you deeply know that your fear is not a personal pathology but a note in the universal symphony of human sensitivity, something shifts. The fear loses its grand, defining power over your identity. It becomes something you have, not something you are. You can look at it and say, "Ah, this is the human fear of uncertainty. This is the fear of loss that comes from love. This is the fear of inadequacy that comes from wanting to contribute." You can hold it with more compassion, for yourself and for others. You can even share it. You can say to a friend, "I'm really scared about this," and instead of feeling weak, you are offering an invitation into shared humanity. This understanding is the foundation for true compassion, or karuna. Compassion is not pity from a place of superiority. It is the heart's natural response to seeing dukkha in another, because you recognize it in yourself. You see their fear, and you think, "I know that taste." This connection is the antidote to the isolation that fear breeds. So, as you sit with your own heart now, practice this shift. When a fear arises, instead of getting lost in its personal story, "Why me? What's wrong with me?" gently label its universal nature. This is the fear of change. This is the fear of not being enough. This is the fear of losing what I love. Feel the difference. In the first, you are alone in a dark room. In the second, you are in the vast, shared hall of human experience. Your fear may not disappear, but the lonely, suffocating quality of it will soften. It becomes a burden shared by all of humanity, and therefore, somehow, lighter to carry. You realize you are not fighting your private demons, but navigating a universal human terrain. And in that knowing, you find a courage that is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to feel it as part of the shared journey of being alive. Let us journey onward. Having recognized the shared landscape of dukkha, we now turn to a skillful inquiry. If suffering and fear are universal, what is the specific mechanism that amplifies them, that turns a passing cloud into a prolonged storm? The Buddha's answer was precise and profound: attachment. The Pali word is tanha, often translated as craving or thirst. It is the habitual movement of the mind to grasp at what is pleasant, push away what is unpleasant, and ignore what is neutral. It is the clenched fist we spoke of earlier, now seen as the very engine of our distress. Fear, in its essence, is a species of tanha. It is the craving for safety, for certainty, for control, and the desperate pushing away of danger, uncertainty, and helplessness. We are not just afraid, we are attached to not being afraid. We are attached to a specific outcome, to a particular self-image, to the continuation of a pleasant state. When life threatens to loosen our grip on these attachments, fear roars to life as the guardian of the status quo. Think of it like this. You are holding a priceless, delicate glass vase. You believe your happiness, your very worth, depends on this vase remaining intact, in your possession, forever. Now, you must walk across a room with a slippery floor. Every step is flooded with fear. The fear is not really about walking, it is about the potential loss of the vase. The vase is your attachment, to your job title, to a relationship, to your health, to others' approval, to your own idea of who you are. The slippery floor is life itself, inherently uncertain and unpredictable. The tighter you clutch the vase, the more paralyzed with fear you become. You cannot walk freely. You cannot live freely. The Buddhist path does not teach you to stop caring about the vase. It teaches you to see the vase for what it is. A temporary, composite object, beautiful perhaps, but not the source of your ultimate happiness or identity. It invites you to hold it lightly, to appreciate it, but to know that your well-being does not depend on its perpetual, unchanging existence. If you can hold it in an open hand, you can walk across any floor. You might still prefer not to drop it, but if it slips, the shattering is not the shattering of your world. I want to offer you a metaphor I call the gallery of self. Imagine your sense of self is not a solid statue, but a vast, ever-changing art gallery. The rooms are filled with paintings and sculptures, the competent professional, the loving parent, the victim of circumstance, the fit and healthy body, the person who is liked. We become attached to these self-portraits. We believe they are us. We curate them, protect them, and fear anything that threatens to damage them: criticism, failure, illness, rejection. Fear is the alarm system in this gallery. When life events, a missed promotion, a critical comment, a new wrinkle in the mirror, approach a prized portrait with a can of paint or a chisel, the alarm blares: danger. Your identity is under attack. We panic. We spend immense energy trying to shoo away the threats, to restore the portrait to its original state. The practice of non-attachment, of letting go of tanha, is not about setting fire to the gallery. It is about changing your relationship to the art. It is walking through the galleries and realizing, these are interesting representations. They capture certain moments, certain roles, certain feelings. But they are not me. I am the spacious gallery itself, the aware presence in which these images arise and are displayed. When you know you are the gallery, you can watch with curiosity as life adds new brushstrokes, or even paints over an old portrait entirely. A new self-image emerges. The person who adapted, the one who learned from failure, the body that carries experience. The alarm system grows quiet. There is nothing permanent to protect, only a flowing exhibition to witness. A personal story illustrates this. For years, a core part of my gallery was a portrait called The Physically Strong and Capable One. I derived a quiet confidence from it. Then, I suffered a back injury that left me, for a time, unable to lift, bend, or move without pain. The fear was immediate and intense. But it wasn't just fear of pain. It was the terror of watching that prized portrait in my gallery being defaced. Who am I if I'm not strong? What is my value? The alarm blared incessantly. Healing was slow. One day, frustrated and afraid, I was sitting on the floor, unable to get up easily. In that moment of helplessness, I remembered the gallery. I closed my eyes and looked inward. I saw the portrait of the strong one, now with a giant crack through it. And then I shifted my awareness to the space around the portrait. The quiet, empty floor of the gallery. The walls. The light. I was that. The portrait was just an object within me. A profound calm descended. The fear didn't vanish, the pain was still there, but its existential charge was gone. I was not the damaged portrait. I was the space holding the damaged portrait. From that space, I could respond to the injury with patience and care, rather than with panic and resistance. I began to paint a new, tentative portrait, the one who listens to his body. This is the freedom of letting go. It is not detachment as cold indifference. It is a warmer, more spacious engagement. You care, but you are not owned by the outcome. You love, but you do not confuse the person you love with your need for them to always be a certain way. You work hard, but your worth is not hostage to the result. To practice this, find a small attachment today. Perhaps it is the attachment to having a perfectly peaceful day. When a minor frustration arises, notice the clutch of disappointment, the subtle fear that your peaceful day portrait is being ruined. Then, breathe. Step back in your mind to be the gallery. Observe the frustration as a splash of color on the canvas. It is part of the day's artwork now. Can you allow it to be there without trying to immediately wipe it clean? This is a small act of great courage. Each time you do this, you loosen the grip of tanha. You disarm the alarm system of fear. The Buddha taught that this letting go is the culmination of the path. It is not something you achieve once, but a moment-to-moment orientation. You learn to hold your plans, your relationships, your feelings, your very self-concept, in an open palm. You appreciate their texture, their warmth, their beauty. But you know they are gifts, not possessions. And when the wind of change inevitably blows, you can let them rise from your hand like seeds, trusting them to the larger cycle of life, while your hand remains open, ready to receive the next moment's gifts without fear. We have journeyed through understanding the mind's illusions, cultivating patience, embracing impermanence, acknowledging universal suffering, and loosening the knots of attachment. Now, we arrive at the practical heart of it all, the tool that allows us to apply these insights in the very moment fear strikes. This is the practice of mindfulness, or sati. Mindfulness is often described as present moment awareness, but that can sound passive. Think of it instead as the ultimate act of presence, the gentle, powerful turning of the light of your attention to what is actually happening, right here, right now, without immediately filtering it through judgment, story, or reaction. It is the practice of being the deep lake, aware of both the still depths and the weather on the surface, without confusing the two. When fear arises, it is a master hypnotist. It pulls us out of the present and into a terrifying future or a regretful past. It says, look at what might happen, or remember when this went wrong. Its power depends entirely on our absence from the present moment. Because in the full, undiluted present, fear has no fodder. The present moment is almost always bearable. It is just this breath. Just this sensation in the body. Just this sound in the room. Even if the present contains pain, it is a specific, localized pain, not the amplified, catastrophic story fear wants to tell about it. Mindfulness is the gentle but firm guide that leads you back from the frightening movie in your mind to the actual, sensory reality of your immediate experience. It is the anchor that keeps the ship of your awareness from being swept into the stormy seas of what if. Let me offer you a new metaphor. Imagine your awareness is a wise, kind shepherd. Your thoughts, feelings, and sensations are a flock of sheep. Some sheep are white and calm, pleasant thoughts. Some are gray and neutral. And some are black, frantic, and loud. These are your fears. The untrained mind is a poor shepherd. It sees a single black sheep and panics. It runs after it, shouting, trying to chase it out of the flock or paint it white. In doing so, it abandons the entire rest of the flock to chaos. The black sheep, now the center of frantic attention, runs even wilder, stirring up dust and frightening the other sheep. The mindful shepherd is different. She stands on a small hillock, grounded and calm. She sees the single black, frantic sheep. She acknowledges it. Ah, there you are. But she does not abandon her post to chase it. She keeps her awareness on the entire flock. The breath of the meadow, the sound of the wind, the feel of the earth beneath her feet, and the whole flock, white, gray, and black together. From this grounded, panoramic awareness, she might gently whistle or take a slow step to guide the flock's general direction. The black sheep, not being the sole focus of a panic, eventually tires itself out and begins to move with the flow of the flock again. The shepherd did not fight the fear sheep. She contained it within a wider, calmer field of awareness. This is what you do when you practice mindfulness with fear. You don't try to argue with the fearful thought, "Don't be stupid, that won't happen." You don't try to forcefully relax the clenched body. You simply expand your awareness. You feel your feet on the floor. You notice the next breath coming in and going out. You hear the ambient sounds around you. You create a container, the mindful shepherd's hillock. That is larger than the fear. Within that spacious container, the fear can exist without taking over. You are not the black sheep, you are the shepherd aware of the entire field. I learned the power of this not in meditation, but in a dentist's chair. I have a deep, old dread of dental work. As I sat there, the drills whine building, my heart began to hammer against my ribs like a trapped bird. Classic fear. The old pattern would be to disappear into a mental fantasy, to leave my body in panic. But that day, I remembered mindfulness. I decided to stay. I brought my full attention to the sensations. Not to the story, "This is awful, I can't stand it," but to the raw data. The cold touch of the instrument on my gum. The pressure. The high-pitched sound, which I noticed had almost a musical quality if I listened without label. The taste of antiseptic. The feeling of my hands gripping the chair arms. I named them silently, like a scientist collecting data: pressure, sound, cold, grip. I became intensely curious about the actual experience, moment by moment. Something remarkable happened. The fear, the panic about the sensations, retreated. The sensations themselves were still intense, sometimes unpleasant, but they were just sensations. They were happening in the vast space of my awareness, and that space was not afraid. The space was simply knowing. I was the shepherd on the hill, feeling the wind and watching the flock, which included the drill sensation sheep. It was one of the most peaceful dental experiences I'd ever had, despite the procedure being no different. I had changed my relationship to the experience by being fully, mindfully present for it. This is the practice. It is deceptively simple but endlessly profound. You start with the breath because it is always here, a constant anchor in the present. When you notice your mind has been carried away by a fearful story, you don't scold yourself. You gently note, thinking, or worrying, and you bring your attention back to the physical feeling of the next breath entering and leaving your body. You are training the shepherd to return to the hillock. You can practice this anywhere. Waiting in line, feel your feet on the ground instead of fretting about the delay. Eating a meal, truly taste the first 3 bites before your mind wanders. Listening to someone, truly hear their words without composing your response. Each time, you are strengthening the muscle of present moment awareness, building your inner shepherd steadiness. When a big fear arises, the phone call from the doctor, the confrontation you must have, the financial worry, this trained muscle is your refuge. You can immediately drop into the body. What do I feel? Tightness in the chest. Butterflies in the stomach. My jaw is clenched. You name it. You feel it. You breathe into it. You are bringing the fear out of the abstract, frightening future and into the manageable, sensory present. You are grounding the lightning of anxiety in the rod of your body. The story may still be there, but it's no longer in charge. You are. You are the aware space, the shepherd, the deep lake, the gallery. And from that place of grounded awareness, you can then choose how to respond, rather than being hijacked by a panicked reaction. Mindfulness is the thread that strings all the other pearls of wisdom together. It is how you see the illusion in real time. It is the vessel for patience. It allows you to directly feel impermanence as sensations shift. It helps you observe dukkha without personalizing it. It creates the space to see attachment in action and to loosen its grip. It is not a special state for the cushion, it is a way of being for all of life. It is coming home to the only moment you ever truly have, this one. And in this one, fear has no dominion. As we near the end of our spiral journey, let us pause and see how the threads we have gathered weave together into a single, cohesive understanding. We have not been collecting separate tools for a toolbox, but rather exploring different facets of the same jewel of wisdom. The insights from the Buddha's teachings are not isolated concepts, they are interdependent, each one supporting and clarifying the others. To see this interdependence is to grasp the holistic nature of the path away from fear and toward peace. Let us imagine a single moment of fear arising. Perhaps it is the sudden, cold dread of a potential loss, or the slow, creeping anxiety about an uncertain future. In that moment, all the principles we have discussed are in play, and mindfulness is the lens that brings them into focus. First, mindfulness, sati, creates the initial space. Instead of being instantly swallowed by the fearful narrative, you pause. You feel the breath. You ground yourself in the body. This pause is the critical first step, the shepherd taking her stand on the hillock. From that place of mindful awareness, you can see the illusion. You observe the fearful thought as a thought, a mental event, a story being projected. You see the rope, and you begin to question if it is truly a snake. This recognition itself is liberating. You are no longer fused with the thought. Seeing it as a passing mental event allows you to apply patience, khanti. You don't need to frantically solve, fix, or flee from this feeling. You can allow it to be present. You can tolerate the discomfort. You can be the deep lake, allowing the wind to ripple your surface without believing you are the storm. Patience gives the fear room to exist without your resistance feeding it. Your patience is empowered by the knowledge of impermanence, anicca. You know with certainty that this fear, like all phenomena, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It is a wave that has arisen and will crest and fall. It is not a permanent state of being. This too shall pass is not a cliché, but a law of nature you are leaning into. This knowledge provides the courage to be patient. As you sit with this impermanent, illusory thought, with patience, you remember the universality of suffering, dukkha. This fear is not your unique failing. It is a reflection of your human vulnerability, your capacity to care, your sensitivity to change. It connects you to every other heart that has ever beat with anxiety. This dissolves shame and isolation. You are in the shared human experience, not a private hell. And what is this fear guarding? Mindfulness and patience now allow you to inquire gently. You see the attachment, tanha, at its root. What are you clinging to that feels threatened? Is it your self-image as a capable person? Your attachment to a specific plan for the future? Your craving for security or approval? Seeing the attachment clearly is like seeing the priceless vase you are clutching. With that sight, you can begin the practice of letting go. You can consciously loosen your grip, hold the object of your fear in an open palm. You realize your peace does not depend on this specific outcome. You are the gallery, not the portrait. This is not a linear sequence, but a fluid, simultaneous flowering of understanding within a single moment of mindful awareness. Each insight unlocks the others. Patience is possible because of impermanence. Letting go is possible because you see the attachment. Compassion for yourself arises when you see the universal dukkha. And all of it is held in the container of mindful presence. Let me share a final, synthesizing story. It is about a potter I once met in a small coastal village. He worked in a shack open to the sea air. He said the secret to his beautiful, strong pots was not just in the clay or the wheel, but in what he called the collaboration with the elements. He would shape the pot, but then he would place it outside overnight. The ocean wind, carrying a fine, salty mist, would subtly texture the surface. The cool night air would set it. Sometimes, a sudden gust would knock a pot over before it was fully firm, distorting its shape. Initially, he said, he would rage against the wind, seeing it as an enemy ruining his work. Then he began to see it as part of the process. He learned to read the wind, to place his pots where they would get texture but not be destroyed. When one was knocked over, he stopped seeing it as a ruin. He would pick up the soft, misshapen clay and recenter it on the wheel. The new pot, bearing the memory of the fall and the reshaping, often had a character and strength that perfect ones lacked. He said, "The wind is not the problem. My idea of what the pot should be is the problem. The wind just is. The clay just is. My job is to work with what is, not with what I wish would be." In this story, you can see all our threads. The wind is the impermanent, unpredictable nature of life, anicca, which includes our fears. The potter's initial rage is the suffering, dukkha, born from attachment, tanha, to a specific outcome. Learning to read the wind is mindfulness, sati, bringing awareness to the present conditions. Placing the pots with care is wise and patient engagement, khanti. Seeing the wind as a collaborator, not an enemy, is seeing through the illusion of a perfectly controllable world. Reshaping the fallen pot is the practice of non-attachment and letting go, creating something resilient from what seemed broken. Your life is that clay. Your mind and heart are the potter. The winds of change, of loss, of uncertainty, of fear, are constant. The Buddhist teachings are not about building a wall to keep the wind out. They are about learning the art of working with the clay in the wind. To become so intimate with the nature of clay and wind that you are no longer at war with the process. You become a collaborator with reality itself. The pots you create, your relationships, your work, your character, will bear the beautiful, textured marks of that collaboration. They will be strong not because they were never knocked over, but because they were reshaped with awareness, patience, and compassion. This is the end of fear as a tyrant. It becomes simply another wind, another element to be aware of, to work with, to learn from. It may still knock you over. But you will know how to find your center again on the wheel of your own awareness. You will know you are not the temporary shape of the pot, but the intelligent, creative, and resilient presence that can always return to the clay of the present moment and begin again. And so, we arrive here. Not at an end, but at a new beginning. We have spiraled through ancient landscapes of the mind, gathering not weapons, but understandings. We have sat with the nature of thought, cultivated the soil of patience, flowed with the river of impermanence, shared the universal hearth of suffering, loosened the grip of attachment, and taken refuge in the anchor of mindful presence. These are not mere ideas to be catalogued and forgotten. They are living truths, awaiting your experimentation, your touch, your lived experience. The goal was never to eradicate fear. That would be like trying to stop the ocean's tides. Fear is a natural signal within the brilliant, sensitive organism that you are. It tells you that you care, that something matters, that you are alive and paying attention. The transformation we have explored is not in the feeling itself, but in your relationship to it. We move from being a prisoner of fear, locked in a cell of its own making, to becoming a wise warden. One who recognizes the prisoner, understands its origins, meets its needs with compassion, but who holds the keys to the cell door and knows that the prison itself is within a vast, free landscape. This shift changes everything. It changes how you wake in the morning, how you face a challenge, how you engage in love, how you meet loss. You begin to live from a place of response, not reaction. From a place of curiosity, not condemnation. As we prepare to part ways in this formal journey, I offer you a final contemplation, a bedtime story for the soul you are becoming. Imagine you are a lighthouse keeper. Your duty is not to calm the sea, that is far beyond your power. Storms will come. Great, rolling waves of circumstance, howling winds of change, and thick, obscuring fogs of uncertainty will visit your shores. Your duty is simply to tend the light. To keep the fuel clean, the lens polished, the flame burning steadily. The light does not fight the storm. It does not beg the fog to lift. It simply shines, faithfully, from its place of rooted stability, casting its beam in a slow, sure circle through the darkness. Your mindful awareness is that light. Your practices of patience, of seeing impermanence, of understanding universal suffering, of letting go, these are the polishing of the lens, the tending of the flame. The storms are your fears. They will come. They will rage. But they cannot put out the light unless you abandon your post. Your only task, in any weather, is to keep tending the light. To keep returning to the breath, to the body, to the present moment sensation. To keep remembering the deeper truths when the surface is chaotic. When you do this, something miraculous happens. The light, your unwavering awareness, begins to change your relationship to the entire scene. You are no longer a small boat tossed in the storm, terrified and helpless. You are the steadfast keeper in the tower. You feel the storm shake the stones, but you are not the stones. You hear the wind scream, but you are not the wind. You are the one who is aware of it all, the one who keeps the light burning. From this perspective, the storm is no longer a personal threat, it is a phenomenon passing through your field of care. You can even appreciate its raw power, its terrible beauty, because you are safe in your knowing. The light does not belong to the storm. It is a gift for all who are navigating it. This is the peace that passes understanding. It is not the absence of storms, but the presence of an unshakable light within them. So, as you go from this place, from Monk's Moon Temple, back into the vivid, messy, beautiful drama of your life, carry this simple question as your touchstone: am I tending the light? When fear tightens your chest, tend the light, feel the next breath. When worry loops in your mind, tend the light. Listen to the next sound you hear. When sadness feels heavy, tend the light, feel the points of contact between your body and the world. In moments of joy, tend the light, be fully, completely present, so the joy sinks into your bones. This is the practice. Moment by moment, breath by breath. You will forget. You will, for a time, believe you are the boat in the storm again. And then, you will remember the lighthouse. You will remember the hillock, the shepherd, the deep lake, the gallery, the open palm, the shared hall. You will remember, and you will return. Each return is a victory. Each moment of remembered light is a star lit in your inner sky. Thank you for walking this spiral path. Thank you for your courage in looking within. This is the most important journey any of us will ever take. If the teachings shared here in Monk's Moon Temple have provided a map, a lantern, or simply a moment of respite, I am deeply grateful. If you wish to support this sanctuary of spoken wisdom, to help keep this light shining for others, consider subscribing. Your subscription is a vote for quiet contemplation in a noisy world. But more than that, take these understandings with you. Test them. Live them. See for yourself if they bring more freedom, more peace, more compassionate space into your heart. The Buddha himself implored his followers not to take his word on faith, but to try the teachings and see if they bear fruit in your own life. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from the suffering of fear, not because fear never visits, but because you have learned the art of welcoming it, learning from it, and letting it go. May you tend your light with unwavering compassion, and may its beam guide you, and all those you love, safely home to the present moment, again and again. The temple bell is silent now. The conversation continues within you. Go in peace.